Hey everybody, Tectilar here again with the 28th episode of the Heroes Appendix video series. Its purpose is to help newer and veteran players alike to fully understand the ins and outs of all the characters in Hero Wars Mobile. In today's video, we are reviewing the first place winner of the most recent vote amongst my patrons, Judge, who, until his recent rework at the beginning of this year, was widely renowned as one of the most useless mage and support heroes in the entire game. However, since his rework, he has taken center stage as one of the heroes you really have to take a minute and think about before you attack, being great on both offense and defense. In today's video, we are going to be discussing his skills, how they visually appear, and their uses both practically and strategically, when to use Judge, when not to use him, his roles in the team, skin priority order, artifact priority order, glyph priority order. First up is Judge's activatable skill, Ion Cyclone, which is commonly referred to as his ultimate because this is the ability he can use once his yellow energy gauge is filled during battle. Judge grows larger in size and stomps the ground in front of him as lightning storms appear at the feet of all enemy party members, dealing damage every 0.6 seconds for a total of 4 hits. This skill has a 20% magic attack ratio plus 4800, which is pretty high considering this is the damage per hit per hero. So it's actually this amount times 20 if it's a full team of 5 enemies. An interesting note with this skill is this is his only damaging skill. However, it's what makes him such a formidable defensive unit because he can level the entire enemy team's set of damage dealers in one use of this skill. Judge's second skill is called Force Field. Judge will bend over slightly and curl his arms inward and then thrust them outwards and stand up straight. As he thrusts his chest outward, applying a shield on the most frontmost and rearmost ally, which can absorb up to 134,893 damage, excluding any magic attack buffs. This skill has a staggering 160% magic attack ratio, plus 7,200, so it can block up to 134,893 per application, assuming there are no buffs active. This skill can be used once every 13 seconds. A note with this skill is it does not check the unit's mitigation before factoring the damage to the shield, aka the shield receives all damage as if it were pure damage. Judge's third skill is called Spatial Rift. Judge will raise one hand with an electric effect on it, and a snowflake will slowly spin above the head of the affected enemies. This skill will reduce the affected enemy's speed by 10% for 7 seconds. This skill can be used initially after 10 seconds and then once every 20 seconds. A note with this skill is that it has a range, which is about 17% shorter than Krista's watermark range. Another note with this skill is that it gets additional benefits from his Violet ability, Enhanced Generator. Judge's fourth skill is called Enhanced Generator. It modifies Judge's other abilities, so Ion Cyclone will stun each enemy that it hits on every hit. Force Field will stun enemies nearby once every 5 seconds. Spatial Rift will stun enemies when the skill expires. And a note with this skill is that it has a range on Force Field, and it's on the Force Field portion of it, and it's approximately 50% longer than Dorian's aura. Let's take a deeper look now and see when you should be using Judge. First up is in reactionary, bulky support teams where all the power from each lie in their ultimate abilities. For example, Jorgen, Faceless, and Judge. The reasoning here is Judge's ultimate is really his only damaging skill, and he has over 300,000 health and 29,000 magic defense, so he can be quite difficult to bring down, especially with chip damage heroes like Lars and Krista. So, in taking a lot of chip damage, he reacts with his ultimate, and will likely be closely followed by Jorgen and Faceless, or others depending on your lineup. This can grant 64,000 magic attack bonus and 32,000 magic penetration, enabling an oppressive wave of damage to completely shatter the enemy team. The second time to consider using Judge is if you have a front or backline unit, or both, that could use additional defenses to keep them alive through damage that might otherwise kill them. For example, you can add Judge to a team with Leon in position 5, and that can help her to survive Corvus's Altar, which is normally a hard counter for her. Since the shield blocks a minimum of 134,893 at max level, that's more beneficial than Leon getting a health skin, which could allow her to survive when she normally couldn't dream of it. The same can hold true for Helios or Jet blocking Jews damage, etc. Any situation you want to offer extra protection to those units for a brief period to make up the difference where they would normally die. Now we'll take a look at when you should be avoiding Judge in your team. If the enemy has Aurora as their tank and any source of magic penetration on their team, because if Judge activates his ultimate while the enemy has magic penetration buffs active, Aurora's Rainbow Halo skill can quite literally melt your entire team depending on her positioning and if they have knockback. Another time to consider is that while he is fairly bulky, you want to be mindful of avoiding units like Kark, Ginger, Elmir, and Darkstar, who will consistently deal heavy physical damage to him. He does have 9,000 armor, but against most heavy physical damage units, they will penetrate that without issue. Now we'll discuss his roles in the team. Judge's roles are mage and support, and in many situations he can be control focused as well. Judge is an overall bulky unit with nearly 30,000 magic defense, 350,000 health, and 9,000 armor. He's also extremely aggressive, boasting nearly 80,000 magic attack and possessing a magic attack artifact weapon. So, when I think about him aggressively, I like to think of him as a retaliatory hero where he can soak a lot of cleave damage, and if partnered with other bulky retaliatory heroes, whose damage is also based entirely on their ultimates, then he can level the enemy's team in seconds. Every single one of his skills stuns enemies, and either at the conclusion of them, periodically while active, or at each iteration of damage dealt. With this being the case, he also seriously disrupts the timing of the opponent's abilities, which makes their attacking strategies less predictable, and without a Judge in their guild to train with, they could find themselves scratching their heads at the results because their abilities didn't fire off when expected. This makes Judge extremely useful on defense. In this segment, we'll be discussing his skins. The top priority skin is his mechanical skin, which offers 10,650 magic attack. This skin is one of the single largest boosts to his magic attack, so it's good to get that out of the way early since most of his skills rely on it. The second in priority is his champion skin, which offers 106,870 health, and is up next because he's oftentimes in harm's way near the front of the middle row, typically just behind the tank. The third in priority is his default skin, which offers 1,365 physical attack, 1,365 magic defense, and 4,095 magic attack. And it helps raise his magic defense to its overall massive level, as well as boosting his ability's effectiveness. The fourth in priority is his Masquerade skin, which offers him 10,650 magic defense, which helps him mitigate damage from even the strongest of mages. And then last in priority is his Lunar skin, which offers him up to 10,650 magic attack, giving a great rounded out boost to hit shielding and damage effects alike. Next we'll discuss artifact priority. First up is the artifact Book, which will grant him 10,680 magic attack and 53,394 health. This boasts the largest amount of survivability for him, granting him both life and force field growth. Couple that with also contributing to his damage, and it's an easy decision to land on this one first. Second up in priority is his artifact Ring, which grants him 11,970 magic attack, 3,990 physical attack, and 3,990 magic defense, which offers a great deal of damage as well as helps him reach his behemoth levels of magic defense. Lastly is his artifact Weapon, Chart of Endless Stars, which grants up to 32,040 magic attack to the entire team for 9 seconds. This effect, plainly put, is amazing because it buffs not only his damage, but his allies as well, and it can even dramatically influence his force field skill. In our final segment, we will now be discussing glyph priority. The first glyph to choose is his health, which grants 30,800 health and is the biggest contributor to his survivability. The second glyph up is his magic attack, which grants him 3,360 magic attack and will give him a needed boost early on for his skills. The third glyph to choose is magic defense, which grants 3,360 magic defense, and given his team position, magic damage is the type of damage he'll be suffering from the most, and will also help him get incredibly high early on, as magic defense is high in priority from all sources for him. Fourth in priority is armor, totaling 3,360 armor, which is going to help him reach his peak armor that is necessary for his longevity. And the fifth and final glyph is his intelligence, which grants 560 physical attack, 560 magic defense, and 1,680 magic attack. And just like his intelligence ring, but it's just a drop in the bucket for this absolute magic defense monstrosity. Okay everybody, hopefully you found this video informative. If you do, please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel called Server 2 Productions. Another thing to consider is recommending my content to your friends as well if you know they yearn for knowledge of the game. Since these videos are private, word of mouth is how they will get spread. Also, for a large and active Hero Wars mobile community, join my Facebook group called Hero Wars Mobile Community, The GOAT. The link will be in the video's description. Thanks for watching.